Welcome to another episode from our show, Anything Goes. I occasionally meet some of the college and occasionally graduates, and one of the things that I find them very confused in, the difference between humility and lack of self-confidence or lack of self-esteem. And you find people want to show humility, they want to look like humble, and others who are really mixed or confused between both. I'm honored and privileged to have my son and two daughters here from St. George Church in Brooklyn, and I'll introduce them. We have Miriam, we have Joseph, and we have Lydia. And this is not an easy session or episode. We have done much easier before then, but we know you guys are coming, so we left the most difficult for you. Is it low self-esteem or humility? And let me give you an example. If you find a young man or a young lady, and all of a sudden she is trying to avoid being with people, and every time they tell her, can you speak about that? Oh, no, I can't speak, I know nothing. And then you tell her, can you talk to the young kids in the kindergarten? You are very good with kids. No, I'm worthless. I know nothing about kids. I hardly can speak to anyone. And all of a sudden say, oh, you are very humble. But is it really humility, or she has no self-confidence? That's the question we need to address today. A lot of our people who are listening to us today, they have a mixed feeling or confusion. Humility is such a great virtue that everyone wants to attain. But I'm worried that we may be not humble, but lacking self-image, but we show off an image that is not really ours. So I'll leave it to you now to discuss it. Is it really this or the other?
I think there's definitely a very thin line between the two. And as you already said, self-esteem and humility are two things that are definitely confused. And we were actually having a conversation about this, if you guys remember, recently in college. And we were talking about how true humility will actually come through connection with God. And self-esteem, on the other hand, is kind of the lack of connection with God, because as you get closer to God, you realize how far away you are from His infinite greatness, and that humbles you as a person. Whereas self-esteem, a lack of self-esteem, is kind of your lack of knowing about how valuable you are in God's eyes. So I would say that would be a kind of general definition of the two, kind of differentiating the two of them.
Lydia, is the humble person is confident?
Yeah, I think sometimes we confuse humility with weakness or ignorance or things like that. But I think we can look at Moses and how he was not able to speak well. So he knew this, and he told him, God wanted him to speak to all of Israel, and God told him, I'm going to help you. I'm going to be the one to speak through you. And that's what St. Paul said also, strength in our weaknesses. So I think it's not that we're weak. It's not that we have the strength of God. We shouldn't show our weaknesses. And I think that's what we...
But I'm trying to get to a very important basics here, and maybe Miriam can pick up the line from here. Is the humble person needs to be self-confident or not?
I think the most important thing is to attribute whatever you do to God, and that He's the one that's giving you His strength. So you said in the girl, in this case that you presented, that she said people noticed that she was good with children.
Yes.
And she was saying no. So that's denying a talent that God gave her, and that's making her not serve. So that's completely going the opposite. So I think in this case it's actually low self-esteem, not humility. But rather humility, you would go, you serve the kids, and if people give you praise, you say, no, it's not me, it's God's gift.
I see. Ignoring the talent that Miriam's saying, how do you categorize that?
Personally, I would actually have to disagree. I think that, from the story, I think it's not, I mean, it's tough to tell. As we said, it's a thin line, so it's tough to tell the difference between low self-esteem and humility. But I mean, definitely, if someone has a talent and there's a lack of self-esteem that's preventing them from exerting and using that talent to serve God, then that's definitely something that needs to be dealt with. And it's not a issue or a case of humility. It's more of a lack of self-esteem.
So I meet a lot of youth that they tell me I don't have a talent. And a lot of people, I'm sure they are listening now and say, these people are crazy or something. I don't have any talent, but am I humble or I am low self-image? In other words, actually, I'm going to stop talking and I want you to talk. If a person doesn't know his talents or could not yet recognize his talents, is that humility when he says, I don't have a talent, or it's something else?
I would say that when someone says they don't have a talent, they're actually going against what God has told us. Okay. God has given us talents, and we know that for a fact as Christians and as His children. God has given us talents, and it's our job through Him, through our love for Him, and through asking for Him to reveal them to us. We have those talents, but it's our job to actually find them.
So Miriam, everyone has a talent?
I think everyone has a talent, and just not everyone has
Lydia,
found
you
it
agree
yet.
with that?
Yeah, I think because he gave the 10 talents to one person, the 5 talents to another.
Everyone has a talent.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you guys. I'm just want to make sure that we don't disagree. So if everyone has a talent, there are 2 groups of people. One, which is very common, I didn't find yet what is my talent. And I find it in freshman and sophomore and all of this. People may not yet know their talents, which is fine. But the problem that we are tackling today, I know my talents, but I'm worried to use it because I'm not sure what people will say of me. Now, we need to talk about that. Have you ever met a person like this?
I think people like that could be afraid of being prideful, and I think that's where it comes in, where you act humble, you're not really humble. So I don't know, like even I struggle with this. Like, how do you know what the line is between being actually humble and showing humility, or like just being like, oh no, I'll step back. That's what.
So we need to find that line. Can you help her?
I definitely agree. I think me, myself, I feel like I struggle between knowing when there's like, when I should kind of step back. And even if I feel like I have a talent in something, you don't want to kind of show that, you don't want to come off as prideful or like as if you want to show your talent or that you use your talent, but then again, you don't want to kind of not use your talent that God has given you. So it's kind of sometimes tough.
Everyone has a talent. God is just, and He must have given every single one a talent. 2, I may or may not know my talent. 3, I may or may not have used my talent. And number 3 needs to be dissected a little further. I may not be using my talent because I think I'm humble, and that's a false humility. Because if I was given a talent, I need to utilize it for the glory of God. And you all said it very nicely. However, if I use my talent, how to be humble and still called talented? That's, I think, your question. Miriam, you are the lady of hard questions today to be answered. So go ahead.
So you said that if we have a talent and we know it.
I'm going to use my talent because if I don't, I'm ignoring or neglecting God's gift. Now, I'm going to be talented and talk to these kids. And people will come and praise you. Because Miriam, you such a great servant with those little girls. You are very talented. Now, she wants to be humble. She feels that if that happened to her, she really may have crossed that line.
So I think you just go about how you accept your praise, but you keep going with the same effort and with the same use of your talent. If you're good at it, you're good at it. You can't, you're not going to stop being good at it. You know, if you're good with the kids, you go to the service, you serve the kids, and if they love you and they learn from you, then like God bring more of it, you know?
And if they
But
praised you?
and so like say a parent comes and praises you and say, "Oh, you've done so well with my kid," and whatever, say, you know, you just say thank you, but you know, it's all through God's grace and help. You know, it can be some you, but like everything originates from God, so it's never you, you know.
But at the end, inside you, what happens, Joe?
As far as what inside after praise,
You did a great job. I mean, you are very talented. I have never seen somebody like this.
I think when it comes to service and things like service, you can have two different people that are doing the same exact service, same exact talent in service, same exact final product. But what matters is who they're doing the service for. Some people do think that they're doing the service for God, whereas they're doing it for themselves, and they're looking for that praise that you're talking about.
So, one of the defense mechanisms, a person who have to use his talents for the glory of God, is always, even if he receives the praise within himself, he almost have two eyes. One eye on his talent and the other eye on his weakness. So if I know that I am talented in this, I know very well I am sinful in this and this and this. So if they come and tell me about this, I say to myself, I don't have to tell anybody, they can deceive me. I know very well my weaknesses. All of this is because God is good to me and He gave me the talent for His glory. So I must use it, but in the same time I have this defense mechanism which is very easy because my weaknesses is so clear to me, I cannot deceive myself. Now, the problem here is the balance. If this eye is, which sees the weakness, is 100, I mean it's 100% vision, and this eye that sees the talent is only 10% vision, I'm going to see my weaknesses only all the time, and I'm not really as clearly seeing my gifts. And this is where the self-image becomes so low, and even if I have a talent, I ignore it, neglect it, or deny it, or decline it. And at the end, I'm looking as if I took from God like a thief, but I claim that I didn't take anything. So a low self-esteem, and coming to the final part here, how can we improve that? Now we understood the first part. In the final couple of minutes, what do you advise me if I am only seeing my weaknesses all the time? I'm hardly seeing my talents or my gifts.
I think we should really see how much God loves us and how many promises He gave us and how many things He put us in charge of and how many things He kind of puts us on this such a high level, and we're really nothing. But still, if He loves us that much, and He created us to do something here, then that means we're worth something, and that means we can think of ourselves as useful to God.
So, if I want to put it in 1, 2, 3, for a low self-esteem person who is so concentrated on her or his weaknesses, you are saying, look at how much God loves you. That's your first defense. What else, Joe?
I definitely agree with that point, but kind of moving to a little bit more practicality. I would say that something that someone can do is to look for that 10% talent that they feel they have, even if they have the 90% weakness. Looking at that 10% talent, they can try and see a way that they can use that talent and slowly increase their
very good point. So not only I should know that God designed me this way, He must have known that this is the best way, shape, form, personality I am. I cannot wish to be Lydia or Joe or Miriam. He created me this way because He wants me to be me, individually me, unique me, because to Him, that's the way He wants His Son to be. He could have made me blonde or blue eyes or taller or younger or I don't know, but He likes me this way. So I should like myself because He likes me this way. 2, very important point, find where are your gifts. Look for them, search for them. But what if I can't find them?
Then that's when you turn to the first point and kind of seek.
Oh, I'm going to turn to the first point, but I still can't find my gifts. What do I do, Miriam? Help me out.
Spend more time on it until you find one.
Spend more time meaning alone, trying to find it?
Well, in prayer.
No,
first of
practically.
all.
I want a practical solution for people how to find their gifts, their talents. We told them, you guys at least have one talent. You may have 10. According to you, everybody got talents. I agree with you. How do I find it? Pray about it. I agree. What else?
They should get involved in a lot of things until they find something where someone starts praising them in it.
Good point. So get involved in activities. Could be music, it could be singing, could be structure, could be construction, could be, I know, whatever it is, volunteering in anything, until you find yourself loving something or you are loved doing something. Very good point. What else? How to find your talents?
I think you can seek the support of a father of confession who can help you to on your path
So
to
ask
finding
the
a
people
talent.
who are close to you, who knows you the best. So if Miriam and Lydia are very close friends, one of them may go to the other and tell her, do you think I'm good in this? Do you think this is, I could grow more in this? Do you think this is the time that I should really concentrate this over this? And so on. I think one last thing is grow your talent. So if you are good with the kids, for example, then learn how to deal with the children. Go and read how children are talked to, spoken to, what type of activity they should have for each age. Go and practice some games that you are going to do with them. Grow in that talent, because this is a gift, as the parable that you mentioned before was mentioned, that one of the things that God blamed that bad servant slave upon, that he did not even give it to the merchants to sort of put it as a sort of a trading. There was no trading in it. And the trading meaning you did not practice it, you did not activate it. So humility and low self-esteem are, in some people, are a bit confusing. I hope we did not confuse you more. I hope we dissected it to tell you that you must have a gift, and do not, under false humility, ignore or decline what God has given you. You will be wrong in doing that. But in the same time, should you be praised for something, the glory only to God. Until next time of our show, Anything Goes, have a blessed time, and thank you.